Hi, I'm Dr. Chuck. Welcome to Your Filthy Mouth. Today is kind of a review. Why are we doing this? Why is this so important for you? Stay tuned.
Your smile is beautiful and possibly deadly. Dr. Chuck is here to tell you how your mouth can hold the key to your overall health. Now, about that filthy mouth of yours.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Lynn with Your Filthy Mouth. This is Dr. Chuck, and today we're going to be doing a review. We're going to be talking about why we started doing these shows in the first place and why you feel so passionate about what's happening in your mouth and how it's affecting the rest of your body.
Well, the research has already been done, and they're continuing to do more research, but let's just take the one part that shows that the bacteria in gum disease, periodontal disease, are causative for cardiovascular disease. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, but this is as big as when the Surgeon General said tobacco's bad for you.
Okay.
It was back in the 60s. This is a huge deal, because when you look at what cardiovascular disease does, cardiovascular disease is what causes heart attacks, strokes. It affects so much of the whole body. And if you look at the statistics, and here, this is called Heart Disease and Stroke Statistics 2018 at a Glance. This is from the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. Just going to read, I don't want to read a whole lot on here, but let's see what the numbers are to see, is this a big deal or is this not such a big deal?
Okay.
Cardiovascular disease is listed as the underlying cause of death, accounts for nearly 836,546 deaths in the United States. That's about 1 of every 3 deaths in the United States. This is for just the year 2018.
Wow.
That's huge. About 2,300 Americans die of cardiovascular disease each day, an average of 1 death every 38 seconds.
Okay.
Why are we passionate about this?
Right.
Because we know what kind of causes, or one of the big causes of this, and we need to bring it to your attention. And one of the things we're going to ask you to do, as you understand this, is to become a dental missionary. Please tell your family, tell your friends, have them come to yourfilthymouth.com.
Yes.
Just get the information, and then you can spread it around, because we don't want to keep this to ourselves. This is a medical crisis that we have in our country. And we need to spread the word, because sometimes the answer can be really simple. And by simply having a healthy mouth, if we can cut down on so many of these other problems, that's not a hard thing to do.
So to kind of recap what you just said, people are having strokes and heart attacks. And a big reason for that is because of the bacteria in the mouth, and it's going through the bloodstream and causing that.
Yes, but not just people, a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Okay.
And this is, at 1 death every 38 seconds.
That is insane.
The time we're doing this, we're going to have, 10, 15 people die.
Wow.
Okay, because of heart issues, and many of them can be avoided simply by cleaning your mouth really well, having a healthy mouth.
What percentage I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
What percentage, when you talk about we could prevent some of them, what percentage, do you have an idea, are actually caused from the bacteria in the mouth?
According to the experts that I've read, is between 40 to 50%. 40 to 50% of those heart attacks are preventable, or they've been caused by oral infections, and oral infections are preventable. You don't have to have gum disease. You don't have to have it's a lot of times you think, when you get older, your teeth are going to fall out and you're going to need glasses and your hair. Well, no, it doesn't have to be that way. If we can learn how to keep the mouth really clean, and that's the key right there. And that's the free part that you do at home. It just takes a bit of time. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to properly clean your mouth. But if we can do those things, then we can not go to where all of these deaths and disabilities are coming from. Coronary heart disease is the leading cause of deaths attributable to cardiovascular disease. Now, that's coronary heart disease. That's when you get cardiovascular disease in the arteries that go to the heart. Okay. Let's see, and then followed by stroke, which is 16.8%, heart failure, high blood pressure, and diseases of the artery, and other cardiovascular diseases. So when you have cardiovascular disease, it can affect the heart and the arteries around the heart. It can affect the brain. It can affect everywhere you have an artery. Everywhere in your body where you have an artery is affected by cardiovascular disease. It's a big deal.
That's unbelievable.
It's a big deal.
And here's the thing I keep thinking about is how many of these problems are being treated by medicine that the root cause, no pun intended, is the mouth. But we're taking all these prescriptions and doing all this stuff to put a Band-Aid on it.
Even when you look at the list of the risks that the American Heart Association puts on, in fact, it's one of these other papers. No, here it is right here. These are the risks that they say. We have smoking, physical inactivity, nutrition, overweight, obesity, cholesterol, diabetes, and I believe it was high blood pressure. Yeah, high blood pressure. Not one time do they mention oral. Do they mention the mouth? This is a big deal because in the rest of their literature, they give level A evidence to the fact that the bacteria in the mouth have a direct effect on the heart.
Why is that not listed?
This is our frustration. This is why we're asking you to please spread the word. Be a dental missionary. You're going to be saving not just lives, but you're going to be saving lifestyle. And that's a big deal.
Let me ask you this. Is there someone in your life, do you have a mom or dad, do you have a friend or a neighbor that has heart problems and issues that Dr. Chuck was just talking about that possibly could be caused from the mouth? And how bold could you be to suggest when is the last time you went to the dentist? Has that been ruled out? It's a hard conversation, I'll be honest.
It's easier for me because I'm a dentist, and you kind of expect those things.
Right.
But if you're a loving person, it's not. It's a loving thing to try and help someone be healthy. It's not okay. So your motive is very honorable, and so it's kind of how you go about asking. Nothing hurts. I'm fine. Well, yeah. Just this morning, I had a patient call me. Had a tooth that is bothering him. We told him about it, over a year and a half ago. It wasn't bothering him, but now it started bothering him. He's had a year and a half of pus draining into his bloodstream, okay? Today it started hurting, so it was Sunday morning. This is a Sunday. So he called on Sunday morning and wanted me to take care of it. So I put him on antibiotics and said, why have you waited? Well, it wasn't bothering me. That's the biggest challenge we have right there, lack of pain. It's not hurting. When things hurt, you're going to take action.
Right.
If they don't hurt...
And by the time they hurt, you're well into the system, right?
Pain is the very last thing to come along. So you've got all these other things that happen, but you don't even know it's happening until the very end when you've got some pain.
Listen, you're going to find a whole lot of information at the website, yourfilthymouth.com. We really want to encourage you to go there. There's some very cool things, like being able to ask the question of the week. We've got that coming up next.
Beautiful.
Here's Dr. Chuck's question of the week.
Hi, this is Don. What's the difference between a good dentist and a great dentist?
That's a good one. All right, so difference between a good and a great dentist.
That's a great question. Yeah. There are good dentists and there are other than good dentists. There are good physicians. There are other than good physicians. There are good attorneys. You name the profession. And there are good ones and there are other than good ones. And in my opinion, when you got to look for a good dentist or a great dentist, number one, that's someone that you can talk to, someone that you can communicate with, because they can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't understand each other, it doesn't make any difference. Number two, and this is probably one of the things that makes it great in your mind, is one who didn't hurt you.
Right.
I mean,
do you want to make that number one? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, you got to communicate first,
right, okay?
But one who doesn't hurt you, and this is 2019. There's no reason for someone to be in discomfort when they're having dental work done. Now, if you've got a big infection, the first thing you do is get the infection under control so you can get the tooth numb, so you can work on it and everybody can be friends. But you shouldn't be in pain. As many times I have people, is this going to hurt? So you tell me. And when we're all done, they're, how was it? Well, I expected it to hurt, but it didn't hurt.
Wow.
That's the way it's supposed to be. So you've got one who listens to you, one who's just going to be comfortable for you, another one who's current with what's happening. Dentistry has evolved like crazy. I graduated back in 1979. We don't do dentistry at all the way we did it back in 1979. There are still dentists that use silver mercury fillings. There are still dentists that use other techniques that are a little older. Let's get with the newer stuff.
Sure.
And along with the materials and the supplies and the techniques of doing the dentistry is the knowledge of how does the mouth affect the rest of the body and the bracket of the oral systemic. Does the dentist grasp the concept that the infections in your mouth get into your body and can affect that? How high on their list is your oral health? Are they more interested in cosmetics, or are they more interested in your oral health? And I can't answer that. That's something you have to deal with. But it might take 1, 2, or 3 interviews with dentists. When you go to see a dentist, consider this as an interview. You may or may not stay with that dentist. How do you feel? Do you feel like a number? Do they push you in, push you out, or they're actually listening to you? And if you let the insurance company dictate where you go, be careful with that. This is your health. This is not just your smile. This is your health. And so you want to make sure you get to a dentist who actually is concerned about you. Now, there are dentists all over. They're really concerned about their patients. So you shouldn't have to look too far. But there are also dentists that are more concerned about the bank account. Than they are the patient. And we have to be careful with that, just like every profession. So I'm not saying dentists are worse than anybody. No, I'm afraid you have auto mechanics, you have electricians, you have bankers, you have all kinds of people. So it's the same type of thing. But you got to be willing to spend a little bit of time to get into a pair of hands that you feel comfortable with.
Very thorough answer. Thank you for that. We're going to send Don a coffee mug, a Your Filthy Mouth coffee mug. Every time we use a question that comes in, that's what we do. We put a coffee mug in the mail to you to say thank you. So you can go to yourfilthymouth.com. There's actually a record button right there. You can just click right on the button and actually record your questions. So we've made it really easy.
Fantastic.
So we're just going to kind of wrap this up with a review of why it is that we're doing what we're doing, and we're talking about how the mouth affects the rest of your body. And you were sharing all these great statistics about, well, I don't want to say great, but I mean,
revealing.
Yeah, revealing. That's a great word for it.
Yeah.
About strokes and heart attacks, and about how we're not taking care of the root cause. We're not taking care of the reason that these things a lot of times are happening.
Well, if we can look at the mouth as the front door to the body, and the front door to your home, you want to look nice and clean and be strong, and you want the back door to be strong too, you know. And just like us, when we get an oral examination, you get a colonoscopy. So I mean, you got both doors have to be healthy. But if we can focus on keeping the front door healthy, keeping the infections, whether it be tooth infections or gum infections, from getting into our bloodstream, because once it gets into your bloodstream, it goes everywhere. It doesn't say, well, I'm just going to go to this area over here. No, it goes everywhere. And so this is why they're finding oral bacteria in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Okay, that's not a good thing. Oral bacteria stuck to the heart valves, oral bacteria inside of the coronary arteries, oral bacteria in the blood clots that are forming strokes. So, I mean, you start looking at this as like, this is a big deal. And that's what the whole thing is. This is a really big deal. So please share this information. Tell your family, tell your friends, wherever you live. It doesn't make any difference where you live.
That's right.
As long as you've got a mouth. Yes, you just have to have a mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so be sure, please, consider following us on Facebook. It's all under yourfilthymouth.com. Subscribe on the different channels that provide videos like YouTube. You'll get that little ding every time a new episode becomes available. If you're listening to just the audio side, just keep in mind when the show airs, and we just thank you. And above all, what we would ask is that you share this information, as Dr. Chuck said.
Share the information, you know. Share with people you love. Even share it with people you might not love, but share it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been Your Filthy Mouth, a weekly podcast about how what happens in your mouth affects the rest of your body. This is important information, so please share it with your friends. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, iTunes, and all the other podcast sites. And drop by yourfilthymouth.com to ask Dr. Chuck a question or find dozens of links to information about oral systemic health. We'll talk to you next week.